Welcome to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, guys and girls. This is October 1st at 11:30 p.m. My beautiful wife, the love of my life, her reflection is on the left side of the screen there. But outside is what's important. It is nasty out there. Ugly, ugly. This is the first major snowfall of the year. It's not the first, but it's the first major one, and we're not too happy with it because we are both heat worshippers. And my poor bike is sitting in the driveway with nothing but her cover on. We were hoping to get a last ride in. That ain't happening either, not in this shit. Anyhow, guys and girls, welcome to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the Great White North.
Creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
A little different way of starting out the video here on London Calling. A bit snowy today. Summer has left us, and it is definitely now fall. As you can see, we are looking at London Calling, and what you saw me doing was cutting out the steel so that I can make her doors and her sleeper panels. Now, it took me a while to decide how I was going to do this all. I have to leave this section here open, of course, so that I can cut the piece out to put in the light up front with the YYC name on there. And yes, as you notice, I have got my coconut smile going as usual. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make London's floor, bring it up and tie it into this panel so that when I'm ready we can of course put in the grill. Now the other thing is the sleeper doors or the sleeper walls. I have to make a jockey box down here in the bottom to make it look realistic, obviously, but that is where a lot of electronics and batteries and so on are going to go, that thereby keeping my weight midway in the vehicle, and I figure that's going to work out the best. It's going to allow me to have a low center of gravity for the heaviest weight. Of course, I'm planning on the batteries going on the bottom. It just may not work out that way at the moment. One will also go in the driver's compartment here underneath the seat to run basically the cab and the motor and so on. The batteries in the back, of course, will be going to running the deck, as well as all the electronics for the rear deck, her boom, and all that jazz will be located back there. So those panels I cut out, I'm going to start giving them some shape here and like that, and then we will start attaching them, and we see how far we get today. It's late afternoon now, and I've been doing some shop work. I've been reorganizing my shop. Not that you can really tell over there, but I do have some new shelves and all of that in there, and I have a new wood stove I'm building, because the one I've got is burning out on the bottom. So I am reorganizing this whole back section. I have a big compressor that's going to go in that back corner behind the welders over there. Eventually it's going to go beside, but I'm reorganizing the entire shop. I've got a couple of new toolboxes in here. Well, they're not new, but I have more space now because I was running out of space for my tools. So, and I've got a nice big cabinet down below to store shit in. So we're doing pretty good. It's time to organize. And of course, my scrap metal pile is getting out of hand and out of control. It's time to do a sorting, I will say a sort chore, and so that I can decide what's going for recycling and what I'm going to keep. But as you can see, yes, it's getting way out of hand. So it is time to sort and disperse with some of that stuff. It's gotten a little nuts, yeah. But for you guys and girls, what you're interested in is London. So let's get started on her. So as you can see, it's all that fiddly little stuff fitting the floor that takes up the time. It's not actually making the panel. It's just all that screwing around a guy's got to do, right? So yeah, I have actually carried on, and we've got the two, like I'd mentioned before, I'd actually cut out the panels for the left and right side jockey box, sleeper, all of that. So I've got them roughly marked out to where I need them to fit. This is an interior fit. Now I always leave a nice 1/4 inch or better around the outside to shape them and be able to give me an attachment point. In this case, they will end up riveted on, so I've got to find a way to do it a little bit trickier here. I'm thinking I'm going to leave myself an edge so that I can rivet down the back side of the sleeper, and from the bottom, not rivet, sorry, drill through and use sheet metal screws to come down the back side and here, and I'll probably see if I can hide one up in the upper area here as well, and that should hold the panels nice and secure. because I can't firmly attach or permanently attach them, because of course I need access to my electronics and the batteries and so on. So I spent quite a while trying to figure out how I would actually do this on this particular model, and that's the solution I've come to, is running rivet or screws down the backside, the bottom, and in the top here. Yes, you'll see them down the backside. I might find a way to be able to hide them. As yet I haven't come up with a solution for hiding the screw heads, but if that's the worst there is, then that's also not so bad. Yeah, down the front I'm going to make a little lip or something down here to hide the joint, or at least make it as attractive looking as I can. And then I will also be cutting out jockey box doors in the cab here. These will be a permanent fix because of course I can access through the door, yeah, but it needs to have the jockey box like the actual Actros truck does. I'm sorry for my European viewers, I'm really not up to date on all the different Actros models and so on like y'all are. So it's really no particular model other than what Hercules makes in their 1/14 scale plastic model. I'm just copying that. So whatever model that is basically what model this is, but with the added touch of a condo sleeper on the back. I wanted to give it a condo sleeper just to make it different. So anyhow, I am going to move along here with shaping these doors, and we will show you I will show you the end product when I get them all finalized and cut out and shaped here for you. Yeah. Okay, so I went ahead and marked the panel a lot like this. Now this is for the left side. Basically I saved you the tedium of watching me fold this over and do a little bit of shaping to it with the hammer and the dolly. But so I'm going to fold that over and end up with that. Yeah. So now I've got a little bit more shaping to do. As you can see, I've got to actually curve it in here to match the curve along here. If you can see that sufficiently enough, it's got to have a little more curve put into the panel itself. So anyway, basically all I did was save you the tedium of watching me fold those bends over. Yeah. Now the floor is in, the floor is going to get welded in, and then I can do the final shaping of the door. This actually has to become a straight edge down instead of coming to like this triangle point. I'll get the vice grips off here so you can see a little better what I'm talking about. Now what I want to do is I'm going to make a tiny little slip panel that will go from this point here and come up, and that way I have the nice shape of the door that the Actros should have, and we'll weld it together. I've got a little bit of a lip here for a door sill, which will work out well. When the door closes, it'll come up against this sill. This will of course be a proper opening door with the lock here, the hinge along here. So I will bring this down straight, use a little bit of this round stock and come down straight, and that way we'll have a really nice shape onto that door. Yeah. So I'm just going to clamp this back up so it doesn't fall apart on me if I decide to move it around to show you all something else here. But basically that's where we're at. The floor will sit basically level. I will be cutting a hole in it if necessary to bring through the motor and the tranny and hide it under the dash panel or under the seats wherever I decide to fit it. And cleaned up the cab a little bit here to do the welding. The edges are nice and straight along here now, and I've got a little bit of fitting issue here and there. That's all fiddly little stuff that I usually don't bother videotaping for y'all, but it gives you an idea of where it's going to go from here. Yeah, so I will continue on and I will get the floor welded in. I did lose my one camera, my GoPro that I do my B-roll with, the battery's crapped out on it and not recharging, so I got to stop here today, but we will continue on there, and I will get the floor welded in, and we will continue on with London Calling from YYC Designz, Custom RC Creations.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
Okay, so as you can see, I've got her front welded in place, what will become her grill. Just a nice little weld along the bottom, and that of course is where her front winch bumper will be mounted as well. I'm probably going to take that off the frame though, to give it quite a bit of extra strength. I don't want to. This is just the sheet metal, and albeit it is 14 or 16 gauge, as you notice I've got a little bit of shaping to do yet in a number of spots, but that aside, and a little bit of welding to finish up here as well. But basically her cab is now, well, her cab is now all one piece. And so yes, her front winch bumper will be mounted on here, and I'm either going to take it off the frame or on here. I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards the frame just because of strength. Though anything she tows isn't going to be all that heavy either. She will be towing things of similar weight, so it should hold if I just go right into here. And the advantage of that is that when I pull the cab, or if I ever need to pull the cab to access the motor, the front bumper, everything's coming off. I haven't got stuff hanging around in my way. Mostly because on the Mercedes, I've come to notice versus their North American counterparts, a lot of them like to run a lot of cow catchers, and specifically on their heavy duty work trucks, they run a much heavier bumper lower down, so I'm kind of leaning towards a frame for that respect, and it allows me to put a much beefier bumper up front with a winch in it. It'll also have tow hooks in it, so if she ever needs to get yanked, for instance, say by moose, then the bumper would have tons and tons of strength versus being mounted into the grill here. Anyway, I've got a lot of shaping to do because I've got to form the indents for the headlights and of course the Mercedes emblem. So there's a lot of shaping left to do here on this front end. I've got to cut out the section here to mount the cab. I don't know what they really call that piece in Europe, to be honest with you, but it is a lighted section here that usually runs a company's name or logo or something similar, and the whole section is lit, and then cab lights over top are not something I've really noticed. They run the light here, and then the lights tend to go down the sides and so on. So they do things a little different than we do here in North America. But if anybody knows for sure, please comment, because I would really like to know if cab lights are a standard thing or if the roof lights with the 5 driving lights up there are a biggie. Because I do want to make it accurate, and I do have a light bar up here that will handle 5 driving lights, and I do notice the Europeans do that a lot. They put the driving lights up here or along the grill line here. Because it's an off-road truck, I tend to want to put them on the roof. Anyway, so as y'all are aware, I did do a condo shack on the back of this Actros. Now the magnet is strictly just so I can use it as a handle, because these pieces are just set in right now. I've got to drill them, and they will of course be the condo side sleeper. You notice by the gaps I need much more shaping to do, and that'll come. It's boring for y'all to sit here watching me shape steel. So needless to say, the condo sides are done. These are going to be a screw in, because of course I want to be able to access all the electronics and my batteries that are going to be hidden in this compartment. I've decided against actually cutting the jockey box doors out. I'm just going to take my body hammer and put the indentations. I'm not physically going to cut them out. I might even just add a little door on here, glued on basically, or soldered on actually, and give the illusion of a door rather than actually making a physical door, because the front doors will be removable. They'll give me tons of access to whatever I hide under the dash and or the seat in the front compartment. The floor now is solidly welded on. There, see, one of the condo sides just fell out. But the floor is welded on all the way around. It's just going to bolt directly on. It will have whatever it needs, holes cut out of it or whatever, to be able to access the motor. But while I'm at it, here is a condo door here, which basically has the curve at the top. That's got to be done a little better yet. And the lip you see here is where I will screw into, and then just screw them in. And since it's open, now you can see that I am going to store batteries and an electronics train here. I'm going to keep the electronics up high and put the batteries down low. And that is actually almost the midpoint of the truck, so it will keep the heaviest weight of the truck centered and low. So that's always a good thing in an RC, is the weight down low, obviously, especially in a 4x4. And this will be a 6x6, mind you, or an 8x8. I haven't decided yet, but probably just a 6x6 due to expenses. Yeah, the diffs are a little pricey for me, so I think I'm probably just going to go with a 6x6 on this one. Anyway, regardless, it will give me tons of room for a double stack of lipos or whatever I want to run. That way I can run a separate battery for running the towing boom affair, and a battery just to run the truck. should give me a really long run time. And I've actually found some 6-volt batteries out of 6 and 12-volt batteries. I forget what their abbreviation is, but they're out of the scooters and the electronic mopeds, and I'm really considering going with them just due to the length of runtime I'll get out of them versus a LiPo. They last even way longer than LiPo. I use them in my boats a lot. When I don't have room for a 6-volt or a 12-volt motorcycle battery in my boats, I run these. And I don't have one here handy that I could show you, unfortunately. But yeah, they come out of motorcycles, or well, actually scooters, not really motorcycles. They come out of scooters, and beautifully long runtime out of them. So anyway, and to the cab here, I have to add in the air conditioning hatch, because on these they are always external air conditioners. They're not like our North American trucks at all. The air conditioning is always external. So I'm going to add the air conditioner on top, and I'll probably drill the hole through, mainly so that I can run electronics for my lights and for my driving lights, and give myself a place to hide them and tie them in here, so the lighting, roof lighting and so on, wiring will all be in here nicely hidden. I still have to make the side panels. They're quite a tricky little panel to make, so I'm not sure if those will be steel. They may in fact end up being fiberglass. And the doors, I've got to add just a little bit of work here. I've got to make a couple of nice little steel fillets to shape the door openings nicely and make the doors look really good. And I got to build the doors yet. So the doors, I don't know if the doors are going to be the next thing, but they're yet to be done. So they are something that needs to be done. There's a lot here, actually. My list is ever growing. So you know, I actually keep my notes and lists and everything on all of my vehicles right out here, easy to access and everything. So yeah, everything's pretty well self-contained out here. But that's about as far as we're going to get here with London calling for this time. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the welding and all of that. And if you did, please like and subscribe and share with your buds, as always, like all of us YouTubers and creators say. But yes, we really appreciate your support, and we are growing slowly, but we are growing. Our subscriber count is over 40 now. We're 44 as of today, so really happy with that. Really happy, and want to thank y'all for the support. Really appreciate it. But that is going to be the end of this video. So from YYC Designz, Custom RC Creations, I hope you have a good work week and on into the weekend, and we will be working on something new. So expect another video coming out in the next 4 to 5 days. Alrighty, take care, guys and girls. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great week. Bye bye.
Hey,